I note that Mr. Sterns is not present, and it was my understanding that the defense was not requesting his appearance today, and his appearance with us was waived. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. All right. It's unusual that the court doesn't defer to a joint motion to continue. Under this case, I'm a little, I need some additional information as to the grounds. Suppose the following. I understand that, number one, this is that the assistant state attorneys are in high demand, and unfortunately they have a lot of cases that are pending. I also am mindful of the fact that the orders on the motion to suppress came out close in time to the pretrial. I'll note that it'll be about 3 full weeks until we selected a jury on this case. Based on those factors, the motion to continue, is going to be denied. I will make concessions to when the trial will begin. I think I'd like to begin jury selection on July 22nd. Potential opening statements would, depending on jury selection, be on the 25th with either the presentation of evidence in an order that accommodates unavailability of witnesses beginning that Friday or on Monday, July 28th.
Okay, that's the judge from the Stephan Sterns trials. The first one is now delayed. Stephan Sterns, you may recall, accused of sexually assaulting, memorializing the sexual assaults of a little girl named Madeline Soto for years on his account and ultimately on his phone, then charged with her murder after she went missing and her body was found 20 miles from the home. So he's facing two cases, the sexual assault for everything that was found on his phone that he memorialized in the first trial with a life sentence at the end of that. Then following that, a murder trial, which is followed by a potential death sentence. Okay? That's what he's facing. So he had filed a motion to suppress all the evidence from the cell phone. It was denied. And once it was denied, then the prosecution and defense together were asking for a continuance of that first trial. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? Why all of a sudden do we want to delay? What's going on? Now, the defense knows they have no defense. It's over, right? The only defense was not getting this information in front of the jury. It's getting in front of the jury all the pictures of the defendant and the little girl. Is he working on a deal? Is the state attorney working on a deal with Stephan Sterns? Is that possible? We're going to have another one of these where we use the death penalty as a negotiating tool rather than as a punishment? Let's bring back in our think tank. Al Wunsch III is with us, Jennifer Brandt and Darnell Crossland. Do you smell something funny going on here, Jennifer?
I certainly do, Vinny. I think they're definitely working on a deal because, like you said, he has no defense now. The pictures are out there. We know what he did. It's on his phone. It's memorialized. So what is he going to say? Someone else put them there. They're fake. I mean, there's not much he can say. So, maybe they're working on a deal overall to try to
wrap it all up, right? Wrap up the murder and the years and years and years of sexual assault of this little girl.
Just like we saw in Idaho. I mean, I don't think it's much different. We just saw this happen. It's probably they're taking one out of that playbook and trying to work out a deal for him.
Yeah, I mean, both sides here, Al, were asking for this continuance. It wasn't just the defense, both sides. Usually this date has been set. The judge did not give the full continuance. He only gave a week. What are your thoughts about what's going on here? Is it really just time to prepare for this trial?
It's definitely they're coming up with some sort of a universal settlement to this matter. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that that's what they're doing. If they were not doing that, the prosecution would not be consenting or making a joint application for the extension. Obviously, they don't have a problem putting forward their case in the sexual assault aspect of this with the phone coming in. I mean, the case is solid. But the question is on the next aspect, the murder case, whether or not, there may be some cause for pause that they may be having, that they're saying, you know what, we can wrap this whole thing up. We can get a guilty plea in both, and then we can move on. So I think that may be the situation in this instance.
Darnell, the first charges are a life sentence. I don't know what his defense is. Like, they're going to take the images from his phone and let the jury look at them, and it's a little girl being sexually assaulted, both in still images and videos, and it's his phone, it's his genitalia, and it's a little girl, and it's over the course of years. Life sentence. If he gets an offer of a life sentence or 2 consecutive life sentences, I don't know how he could turn it down. Because at the other end is the death sentence. Do you think there is a potential deal at work here?
Well, there's always a potential deal at work. The prosecutions,
not if you have a prosecutor who believes in using the death penalty for punishment rather than for a tool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So a lot of these prosecutors, we've covered this on these shows where the prosecutors will start to negotiate and not man up and take it straight to the gate, as they say. In this particular case, first of all, let's not get confused with a motion to suppress to say that because that was denied, that means everything is coming in. Because as lawyers, and as a prosecutor, you have to be able to move evidence in, and that takes some skill in how you move it in, when you move it in. So just because the judge didn't suppress it doesn't mean it's going to be moved in, right? And so when the judge says, listen, it's unusual to deny a joint application for continuance. He said that. He said, but I'm going to do it, and I'll give you some trial concessions later. He's saying that I don't like what's happening here either. We're going to move this thing either to a settlement or we're going to try this case. But I'm not going to have you guys cozying up and doing some things that I don't support. So that's what I got from that. Now, in terms of whether, in fact, there's negotiation here, the death penalty is the ultimate. And a lot of people politically don't like it. Al doesn't like it. So if they can say, hey, you're going to die or you're going to take life in jail, it is a negotiating tool. And so if they can do a global dispo for the murder and that, one life is one life. These pleas where you have or sentences where you have 10 lives just don't make any sense. You only get one. So a natural life is, if he gets that, that's it. Not the 40 or 60-year life that some state has.
No,
this
is real. You do
over.
the time in Florida. Florida, unlike other states, you do the time. You get the sentence, you're going to do the time. Al, you were scowling, I believe.
No, it's scowling only because this aspect of it, I mean, it is a tool, and it is a tool that should be used effectively. And if you can guarantee that there's going to be no appeals and nothing else down the line, then they've got this man locked up forever. And he's gone, and he's done, okay? It is a worse situation to be sitting in that prison than even a death penalty in some instances, especially when you have that kind of crime against a small child. He's going to be very popular in general population.
Yeah.
So under the circumstances, you know what? If I was him, I'd be asking for the death penalty rather than living what he's going to be living for the rest of his life.
Jennifer Brandt, I got to give you the last 10 seconds.
Thanks, Vinny. I don't agree with Al there. I mean, the death penalty is death, and this little girl is never coming back. So, I mean, he can go to prison, and there are people that manage very well, it appears, in prison, and they still have a life, and they still can learn and do things and, create things.
They have good days, they
and be alive.
have bad days.